You're watching live footage from the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. General Secretary of the CPC and CPC Central Committee and President of China Xi Jinping and other senior leaders are stepping into the Great Hall of the People to attend a commemorative event marking the 150th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. You're watching live footage from a Great Hall of the People. You're watching a live coverage, a live footage from the Great Hall of the People, where a commemoration to mark the 150th anniversary of the birth of Dr. Sun Yat-sen is about to start. General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee and Chinese President Xi Jinping, along with other senior leaders, are attending Friday morning's event in Beijing. Top Chinese political advisor Mr. Yu Zhengsheng will chair the event, and President Xi Jinping will deliver a keynote speech.
Comrades, friends, the commemoration marking the 150th birth anniversary of Dr. Sun Yat-sen now begins. Please all rise. The national anthem of the People's Republic of China. Please sit down. Present today are General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, President and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Comrade Xi Jinping, members of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, Comrades Li Keqiang, Liu Yunshan, Wang Qishan, and Zhang Gaoli. Also present today are party and state leaders in Beijing, members of the Central Military Commission, leading officials from party and government central departments and the Beijing municipality, leading members and standing committee members of democratic parties and All China Federation of Industry and Commerce, Standing Committee members and deputies to National People's Congress, Standing Committee members and members of the National Council, National Committee of the CPPCC, representatives of ethnic and religious communities and social organizations, foreign ambassadors posted to China, representatives of Dr. Sun's relatives, representatives of relevant figures from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, overseas guests, representative cross-section of the capital, and representatives of the PLA and armed police. Now I would like to invite General Secretary, President, and Chairman Xi Jinping to make an important speech. Comrades, friends,
今天我们在这里
we're
隆重
holding
集会，
this solemn gathering today
纪念孙
to
中
mark
山先
the
生诞
anniversary
辰，
of Dr.
150
Sun
周年
Yat-sen's birthday 150 years
缅
ago,
怀他
to pay tribute
为民族独立、
for his historic
社会进
contribution
步、
to national
人民
independence,
幸福建
social
立的
progress, and
不朽
people's
功勋，
welfare,
弘扬他的
promote
革
his
命精神
revolutionary spirit
和崇高
and
品
moral
德，
character,
激励
and
海
inspire
内外中华儿
all
女
Chinese sons and
为
daughters
实
at
现
home
中
and
华民
abroad
族伟大复兴
to unite
而团
and
结
work
奋斗。
for the great renewal of the Chinese nation.
孙中山先生
Dr. Sun Yat-sen
是伟大
is
的
a
民
great
族英雄，
national hero,
伟大
a
的
great patriot,
爱国主义者，中国民主革命
and
的
a forerunner of
伟大
China's
先驱，
democratic revolution.
一生以革命为
He
己任，
dedicated all his life to the
立
cause
志
of
救
revolution,
国救民，
to save the nation
为中
and
华
save the
民族
people.
做出了标本史册的
His contribution has gone down the annals of the Chinese history.
时代造就伟大
History makes
伟
great
大人
man,
物。
and a
有
great
影响
man
的时代
has his impact on his time.
150年前，
When Dr. Sun was born
孙中山先
150
生
years
出生
ago,
之时，中国
China was experiencing
遭受
the
帝国主
brutal
义列强
aggression
的
of
野蛮侵略
imperialist powers
和封建
and
专
was
制制度
subjected
的
to the corrupt ruling of feudal autocracy.
战乱
The
频
country
发，
was ravaged by strife
民生凋敝
and conflicts.
中华民族陷
People
入
lived in
内忧外
destitution
患
and
的
deep
灾难
misery.
深渊，
The Chinese
中国人
nation
民
as a
处于
whole was
水
beset
深火热
by
的
domestic turmoil
悲惨境
and
地。
foreign bullying.
在那个
In
风雨
that
无悔的
grim
年代，
situation,
中华民
the
族
Chinese nation
从
displayed
未屈服，
its indomitable will.
无数仁人志士
Countless visionary
前赴
people
后继，
who held
探求
lofty
救国救民的
ideals
道路，
made unyielding struggle
进
for
行
national
可歌可
salvation.
泣的抗争，
Dr. Sun
孙中
Yat-sen
山先
was
生
an outstanding member
就是他们中的
among
杰
those
出代表。
representatives.
年轻时代，
As a young man,
孙中山先生
Dr. Sun saw
目
with
睹
his
山
own
河破
eyes
碎，
a shattered
生灵涂
country and a suffering
誓言
people.
急整
He thus
思民
vowed
于水火，
To save the
切
people
肤大
from
厦
misery
将倾，
and stop the country from
高扬
collapsing without
反
delay.
对封建
He
专
held
制
high
统
the
治
banner
体制，
to reject
毅然
feudal
投身
autocracy
民主革命
and
事业。
devoted his lifetime to
他创立
democratic
幸福会
revolution.
同
He
盟会
initiated the Revived
提出
China Society and
民
United
族
League,
民权
put forward
民生
the
的
three principles
三民
of the
主义，
people of nationalism,
积极传播革
democracy,
命
and
思想，
people's livelihood,
广泛联合
disseminated
革命力量，
revolutionary ideas,
连续发
reached
动
out
武
and
装起
unified revolutionary
为
forces,
推进民主革
launched
命
multiple armed
四处奔
uprisings, and did everything he could to enlist support for the revolution.
1911年，
In 1911,
在他的领导
under his
和
leadership
影响下，
and influence,
震惊世
the
界的辛亥
Xinhai
革命
Revolution, which
取得
shook the
成功，
world, succeeded in
推翻了
overthrowing
清王朝
the
统
Qing
治，
Dynasty
结束了
and
统治
putting
中
an
国
end to the system
几千年
of
的
monarchy
君主专制
which
制度。
ruled China for thousands of years.
由于历史进程，
Although constrained
条件的
by
制约，
historical and social conditions,
辛亥
the
革命
revolution of 1911
虽然没有改
did
变
not change the nature
旧中
of
国
China as a
半殖民地
semi-colonial,
半封建的
semi-feudal
社会性
society,
也没有改变
did not change
中
the
国人
plight
民的悲惨
of the
命运，
Chinese people
没有完成实
or
现
complete
民族独
the
立、
historical mission
人民解放的
for
历史
national
任务，
independence and people's liberation.
但开
The
创了
revolution
完
was
全意
a
义上
thoroughly
近
modern,
代
national democratic revolution, which opened the floodgate to progress for China, spread the idea of democracy and republic, greatly emancipated the minds of the Chinese people, and brought about earth-shaking impact and seminal changes to the Chinese society. The greatness of Dr. Sun lies not only in his leadership over the revolution of 1911, but the fact that he was able to constantly adapt and advance his revolutionary thinking and approach in order to achieve his revolutionary vision, and has fought unswervingly against all reactionary forces. He stood firmly against the warlords carving up the country and stood firmly for a democratic republic and national integrity and unity. After the outbreak of the October Revolution in 1917, Marxism-Leninism was introduced into China and opened a new vista for Dr. Sun's understanding of the world and of China. After the founding of the Communist Party of China, Dr. Sun Yat-sen worked earnestly with the Chinese communists, and with the help of the latter, he developed the new three principles of the people, practiced the policies of alliance with Russia, cooperation with communists, and assistance for the farmers and workers, reorganized the Chinese Kuomintang, pushed the Northern Expedition to victory, and advanced the anti-imperial, anti-feudal democratic revolution. Comrade Mao Zedong once described Dr. Sun Yat-sen's three principles of the people, his united front policy and hard-working spirit, as the most central, most fundamental, and most significant legacy he has left us, and the greatest contribution he has made to the Chinese nation. Pained to see the China mired in extreme weakness and poverty, Dr. Sun was the first to call out for efforts to revitalize China. He noted that construction is the sole purpose of revolution, and he believed that after victory of revolution and with the efforts of the entire nation, China will definitely catch up with advanced nations of the world. He envisioned with pride that once the grand goal of transforming China was accomplished, not only our beautiful country will see the dawn of a new era, but the entire humanity will enjoy even brighter prospects. Because of his great contribution to the Chinese people and the Chinese nation, Dr. Sun Yat-sen enjoys high esteem among the Chinese people, and he is widely revered by all sons and daughters of the Chinese nation. Today, as we pay tribute to his historic exploits and honor his lifelong dedication to the well-being of the Chinese people, we are filled with a sense of great reverence for Dr. Sun Yat-sen from the depth of our hearts.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
中国共产
the
党
Chinese communists
是孙中山先
are
生革
the
命
most
事业
staunch
最
supporter,
坚定的支持者，
the most
最忠诚
faithful
的合
cooperator,
作者，
and the most loyal
最忠
inheritor
实的。
of the revolutionary cause started by Dr. Sun
在他
Yat-sen.
生前，
While he was
中
alive,
国共产党
the Chinese
坚定支
communists
持
firmly
孙中
supported
山先生的事
Dr.
业。
Sun's cause.
在他身后，
After his death,
中国共
the
产党
Chinese
人
communists
忠实继
have
承
faithfully
孙中
carried
山先
forward
生的遗志，
his behest,
团结带领
rallied
全国各
and
族人民
led the Chinese
英勇
people
奋
of
斗
all ethnic groups
继续
in
前进，
tenacious struggle
付出巨
and
大
made
牺牲，
a huge
完成了
sacrifice
孙
to
中山先
complete
生的未竟事
the
业，
unfinished work of Dr. Sun
取得了
Yat-sen,
新民主主义革
won
命
the
胜利，
victory of the new democratic revolution,
建立了
founded
人民
the
当家
People's
作主的
Republic of China,
中
where
华人
people
民共和
became
国，
masters of their own future
实现了民族独立、
and attained
人民解放。
national independence and people's liberation.
在这个基础上，
From that
中
basis,
国共产党
the
人
Chinese communists
团结带领
have
中国人
united
民
and rallied
继续奋
and
斗，
led the Chinese people in further
完成
struggle
了
to complete
社会主义革命，
the socialist
确立
revolution
了
and
社会主义
put
制
in
度。
place a socialist system.
新中国成立67年，
In the
特别是改革
67
开
years
放30
since the
多年来，
founding of the People's Republic of
在
China,
中国共产党领导
especially
下，
the 30-plus years since reform and
中国
opening
人
up,
民
the Chinese people under the
在
leadership
社会主义
of the
道路
Communist
上
Party of China
实现了一个
have
又一
accomplished
个
quantum
伟大
leaps
飞跃，
one after another on the
取得
path
了
of socialism
举世瞩
and
目
attained
的伟大成就。
significant achievements widely recognized
今天
by the whole world.
我们
Today,
可以告慰
It would be a great comfort to learn for Dr. Sun Yat-sen
我们比
that
历史
now
上任何时期
we are closer
都更
to
接
the
近
goal of great
中
renewal
华民
of
族
the
伟大
Chinese
复兴的
nation
目标，
than any time in
比历
history,
史上任何时期
and we are more
都
confident
更有信心、
and capable
有能
of
力
achieving this
实
goal
现这个目标。
than any time before.
同志们、朋友们，
Comrades, friends,
我们对孙中山先生最
the
好的
best
纪
way
念，
to honor the memory of
就
Dr.
是
Sun
学习和
is
继
to
承他的
emulate
好
and
精
carry
神，
forward his spirit,
团结一切
unite with all
可以
forces
团结的力
that
量，
can be united,
调动一
and
切，
mobilize as
可以
much
调动的
support
因
as
素
possible
为他
to continue to work
梦寐以求的振兴中华
for his deeply
而继续
cherished
奋斗。
aspiration of China's rejuvenation.
我们要学习孙中山先生
We must learn from Dr.
热
Sun
爱
Yat-sen
祖国、
for his
献身
lofty
祖国的
character of loving
崇
and
高
being
风范。
devoted to the country.
孙中山先生最大的特点
The biggest feature of
热
Dr.
爱祖
Sun
国，
is his love for his country
一生追求实
and
现
lifetime
民
pursuit
族独立，
for national
振
independence,
兴的理想，
development, and rejuvenation.
对此矢志不移。
He has
无比
unshakable
坚定
resolve for this ideal.
孙中山先生说
He said,
做人的最大事情是
"What's
什
the
么？
most important for a man?
就是要知道
That is,
怎么样
he
爱
should know how to love his country."
他总是以
He always spurs
爱
himself
国若
on
命
by the mottos
一
of
生
loving one's
一息
country
尚
as his
存
own life
不
and
忘
saving
救
the
国
nation till the
等
last
鞭
gasp.
策自己。孙中山先生具有高度的
He has
民族
strong
自
national
尊
dignity
和民族自
and
信，
confidence.
不泥古，
He does not stick stubbornly to old
不
rules
崇洋，
or have blind
不媚外。
faith in foreign things.
强调
He stressed Chinese society is different from European and American ones, so naturally, the way of managing the society is different from theirs. He said, "We will survive if the right of development lies with ourselves and perish if with others." He has arrived at a principle from his bumpy life and long-term struggle. That is, to reform China, one must be based on China's realities and pursue a path suited to China's national conditions. History has always told us that there is no nation in the world who can achieve development and rejuvenation by following others' footsteps. And there is no fixed path which can lead all nations to development and rejuvenation. All nations who have succeeded in their cause have done so because they have found paths suited to their realities. Today, if we want to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must carry forward the great spirit of patriotism and be confident that the Chinese nation has the capability to beat a successful path of rejuvenation. Patriotism is specific and realistic. In today's China, to carry forward patriotism, we must realize that the leadership of the Communist Party of China and socialism must be always upheld unswervingly. Socialism with Chinese characteristics established by the Chinese people under the CPC leadership must always be upheld unswervingly. The fundamental policies of the CPC and the Chinese people for independent development of the country, developed by developing root in China's realities and learning from fine achievements of human civilizations, must always be upheld unswervingly. We must strengthen confidence in the path as well as in the theory, system, and the culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and defend and build our great country along this path. We must learn from Dr. Sun Yat-sen for his love for the people and his broad mind that the whole world belongs to the people. Dr. Sun is deeply devoted to the people and always believes the people is the master of the whole world. He has put in unswerving efforts to remove people's worries and pursue happiness for them. He has unshakable resolve for this cause. Knowing full well that the people has the greatest power, Dr. Sun stressed that to win the revolution, the people must be awakened. He's concerned about people's hardships, emphasizing that the foundation of the country lies in the people. People's livelihood is priority in social progress. What the people cannot do, we must do for them. What the people have no right for, we must fight for them. He said earnestly, we need to set our mind on achieving major causes, not on securing higher official positions. His love for the people is the source of his strength to pursue strength and be committed to the revolution, and a solid foundation for him to keep struggling and never giving up. For any great cause to succeed, it must take root in and never pull strength from the people, and be completed by the people together. If it goes against people's will and lose people's support, any cause will be water without source and trees without root, and is bound to fail. Today, to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, our party must take serving the people wholeheartedly as our fundamental principle, take people's support as the source of our strength, and put the people at the highest position in our heart. Whatever we do is for the people and by the people, and we must always stay true and stand together with the people. We must make reform and development achievements benefit the whole people in a fairer way. Move towards the goal of achieving common prosperity of the people and make the 1.3 billion Chinese people a strong force for the development of the Chinese nation. We must learn from Dr. Sun Yat-sen for his fine qualities of pursuing truth and keeping abreast with the times. A far-sighted and broad-minded man, Dr. Sun has pursued truth for his lifetime without any vacillation. There's no truly prophetic figure in the world. Dr. Sun believes the trend of the world is surging. Those who go with it will thrive, and those who go against it will perish. He's good at learning from practice, including from the lessons of failure. Therefore, he can adapt to the trend of the world and meet people's needs. He said, "What I have loved for my lifetime, in addition to revolution, is reading. I can't live for one day without reading." He has never stopped the pace of exploration and forging ahead, and never refused to amend his thoughts and propositions. By reviewing China's circumstances and world trend, he has learned from others and made innovation to keep up with the trend of the times. His change from a social reformist to a firm democratic revolutionary and his development of the old three principles of the people to the new ones have reflected his admirable spirit of breaking confinements and making innovation. The wheels of the history are moving forward. Those who cannot follow them will fall behind and be cast aside by history. History will only favor those who firmly forge ahead in their struggle and will not wait for those who hesitate, slack off, or flinch from difficulties. Today, to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must have a broad historical perspective, seize the trend of world development, listen to the voices of the time, keep to truth, and correct any mistakes, so as to push forward theoretical, practical, institutional, cultural, and other innovation, and write a new chapter in the development of the Chinese nation in the powerful current of the times. We must learn from Dr. Sun Yat-sen for his indomitable and unyielding spirit of struggle. Dr. Sun has been committed to national revolution for 40 years and stayed true to this cause for his lifetime despite any setbacks. He has firm and unshakable resolve for this cause. He said, "It is so worthwhile to build the foundation of the nation which will last for tens of thousands of years with the several dozen years of the life of our generation." He met numerous setbacks and hardships in revolution. But to build an independent and free country and defend the interests of the country and the people, he has never lost heart or shrunk back from failure or difficulties. He firmly believed, if we think we can, then our cause will succeed, even if it takes moving mountains and filling in oceans. If we don't believe we can, then it will fail as easily as turning our hands. As long as we are dedicated and spare no efforts, as long as we follow the trend of progress and justice, then our cause will surely succeed. Any external threats, internal division, or temporary failure cannot shake Dr. Sun's resolve for revolution. Even on his deathbed, what he had on his mind is still peace, struggle, and saving China. Dr. Sun has honored his pledge with his lifetime struggle, showing the heroic spirit and persistent pursuit of a great revolutionary. The greatness of a cause lies in not only that it is just and massive, but that it is not smooth sailing. The greatness of a man lies in not only that he has made tremendous contribution for the people, for the nation, and for mankind, but that he himself has built a strong mind and a noble character in hardships. Today, if we want to make new progress in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must soberly review the international circumstances undergoing profound and complex changes, take a holistic approach to the arduous tasks of reform, development, and stability, and put in relentless efforts for this purpose. At no time should we think that our goal can be achieved easily and comfortably. We must take responsibilities on our shoulders, be ready to meet major challenges, fend off major risks, overcome major obstacles, and resolve major problems. We must show exceptional courage as well as extraordinary drive to push forward the cause of great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Comrades, friends, Dr. Sun Yat-sen has always firmly defended unity of the country and the nation, and clearly opposed all words and deeds of separating the country and the nation. He said, China is a united country. This has been deeply enshrined in the historical perception of our country. Just because of this perception, we have survived as a country. He stressed, reunification is the aspiration of the whole Chinese people. If we can get reunited, the whole Chinese people will be blessed. If not, the whole Chinese people will suffer.
To realize full reunification of the motherland represents the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation, the shared aspiration and the noble mission of all sons and daughters of China, to ensure the integrity of our country and uphold the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation, is the common will of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation and an inexorable trend of the history. Compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are brothers bound by blood ties. The two sides are an inseparable community of common destiny. The peaceful growth of cross-strait relations is the right path for upholding peace across the Taiwan Strait, promoting common development, and creating benefits for people on both sides. We are committed to the common political foundation of the 1992 consensus, deepening economic and social integration of the two sides, and enhancing the well-being and close ties between our compatriots. We are willing to interact with any political party, group, or individual in Taiwan, no matter what they advocated in the past, as long as they recognize the 1992 consensus and that the mainland and Taiwan belong to one and the same China. The future of the compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are closely linked to the great renewal of the Chinese nation. Compatriots on both sides and all the sons and daughters of China at home and abroad must join hands to oppose the separatist forces advocating Taiwan independence. We all need to work together for the peaceful growth of cross-strait relations and for the full reunification of the motherland and deliver a better life and a better future to all the Chinese people. Since modern times, China suffered a tragic history of more than 100 years when our country was torn apart and the people bullied. This is something no Chinese would ever forget. To uphold state sovereignty and territorial integrity and never allow our country to be separated again is a solemn pledge we made to history and our people. All separatist activities will be firmly rejected by all the Chinese people. We will never allow anyone, any organization, or any political party to separate 1 inch of Chinese territory from China at any time, in any way. Comrades, friends, only when the country and the nation fare well can its citizens fare well. Dr. Sun Yat-sen worked all his life with the expectation that China could one day become the most prosperous, peaceful, and harmonious country in the world, and that the Chinese people can become the happiest people in the world. Dr. Sun Yat-sen hoped that we could carry forward China's traditional culture and draw strengths from different cultures in the world so that China can achieve equality and parity with all the other nations in the world. As he worked tirelessly for the revolution, Dr. Sun Yat-sen had been pondering how to develop China. From 1917 to 1919, he wrote the book The International Development of China, where he envisioned a grand blueprint for China's development, including building 160,000 kilometers of railway that would link China's coastal, inland, and border areas, building 1.6 million kilometers of roads, which would cover the entire country and extend into the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, building and fixing China's waterways and canals, constructing a dam at the Three Gorges region, developing inland transportation, water resources, and power generation, and building world-class ports in northern, central, and southern China, and vigorously promoting agriculture, manufacturing industry, and mining. The blueprint Dr. Sun Yat-sen charted demonstrates his extraordinary insight and avid expectations for China's development. At that time, some foreign journalists thought that Dr. Sun Yat-sen was just dreaming of something that could not possibly be achieved. Indeed, under the political, economic, and social conditions of the old China, it was extremely difficult to realize these grand visions of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Yet today, under the leadership of the CPC, and with the tremendous efforts of all the Chinese people, the grand blueprint envisioned by Dr. Sun Yat-sen had long materialized. Many of the achievements made by the Chinese people have far exceeded his expectation. Across China, we now have railway extended to Qinghai and Tibet, an extensive network of roads, dams over lakes and rivers, ports to all 5 oceans, a whole range of industries, fertile lands, space programs, and a stronger national defense. The independent, democratic, and prosperous country that Dr. Sun Yat-sen was committed to building now stands tall in the east of the world. It has been proven that with the right path, the right theory, the right system, and the right culture, with strong conviction, persistence, perseverance, and unremitting efforts, and with the unwavering commitment to attaining the great objectives, we can and will certainly achieve what we set out to do. "92 years ago, Dr. Sun Yat-sen expressed his expectations for the Chinese nation. If China becomes prosperous, we will not only restore our nation to its rightful place, but also fulfill our major responsibility to the international community." 60 years ago, Comrade Mao Zedong pointed out, when commemorating the 90th birthday of Dr. Sun Yat-sen, that China should make a fairly big contribution to mankind. 30 years ago, Comrade Deng Xiaoping said, "With our country growing stronger, there is more we can do for mankind, and there is more we can do for resolving the North-South problems." That is our ambition. The Chinese people want good development not just for themselves, but also for all the other countries. We want people of all countries to live a happy and peaceful life. For that, we need to promote a new model of international relations featuring win-win cooperation and foster a community of shared future and shared interests for mankind. We will always be the facilitator of world peace, the contributor to global development, and a defender of international order, and we will work with people of all countries to create a better future of peace and development for mankind. Over the past 5,000 years and more, the Chinese nation, through its own development, has already made tremendous contribution to mankind. Going forward, the Chinese people and the Chinese nation will continue to make new and greater contribution to the noble cause of peace and development for mankind. Comrades and friends, as Dr. Sun Yat-sen once said, with 4 million hardworking people and a rich land that spans tens of thousands of square meters, there's no reason that we can't rise as a force to be reckoned with. I hope that all of you can put on your shoulder the responsibility of reviving China. Even in the final moments of his life, Dr. Sun Yat-sen still urged comrades to carry on, for the revolution was yet to achieve success. To realize China's modernization, the great renewal of the Chinese nation, and the common prosperity of all the Chinese people, we still have a long journey ahead of us and many challenges and difficulties to overcome. I call on all the Chinese people that look up to Dr. Sun Yat-sen, including all compatriots on the mainland, in Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and overseas, regardless of your political affiliation, your religion, and no matter where you are, to unite more closely together, seize the historical opportunities, shoulder the historical responsibilities, and take forward the great cause which Dr. Sun Yat-sen and all the revolutionary forefathers had dedicated their life to. Let us carry forward the great cause which all compatriots since modern times have been fighting for. Let us push forward the great cause which the Chinese people and the Chinese nation since modern times have been striving for. Thank you. In his important speech, General Secretary Xi Jinping looked back at Dr. Sun Yat-sen's lifelong dedication to national independence, social progress, and people's happiness, spoke highly of his meritorious service in leading the national and democratic revolution of modern China, reviewed the arduous journey and great achievement made by the CPC, which carried forward the legacy of Dr. Sun Yat-sen and all the Chinese people in their heroic struggle. Expounded on the historic mission of the Chinese people to jointly strive for the great renewal of the Chinese nation, and reaffirmed the solemn position and resolve of upholding national unity. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed in his speech that as we commemorate Dr. Sun Yat-sen, there is so much we could learn from him, his patriotism and devotion to his ideals, his pursuit of common good and compassion for the people, his search for truth and commitment to keeping abreast of the times, and his perseverance and unwavering conviction. We must earnestly study the important speech by General Secretary Xi Jinping, unite all the forces that can be united, mobilize everything that can be mobilized, stay true to our commission, continue to press ahead, and build unstoppable momentum for attaining the two centenary goals. Comrades, friends, let us rally more closely around the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as the core, hold high the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics, work tirelessly as one, and make new and great contribution to the peaceful reunification and the great renewal of the Chinese nation.
更大的贡献